right now, just so if I am just talking, I'm on a black screen, but here I am. Hi. Also, Kate Mia Mia. Hello, welcome. I'm doing well, thank you. I recognize your name. You were graciously subbed to my very baby new YouTube channel for this particular account. I have my old channel, but I'm not going to post there anymore. Hadn't for years anyway. But hope you're doing well. Kind of had a little bit of a late call that I had to take. So I was late getting off, then I just needed to eat something. I may still snack on chips, so apologies if y'all hear crunching. You might hear crunching. I try not to. Although anybody who's been around long enough knows I used to snack crates, so me eating and making eating noises is actually not that unusual. But I shall try to keep it to a minimum, and I don't chew in the microphone. I don't like the sound of chewing. I have that, what's it called, that makes you irrationally angry to hear people, like, smack when they eat. Yeah, that's me, so I don't do it to anybody else either. That's just not, no. But yeah, I want to try and be at least consistent with my Friday streams, and probably Sunday will be more consistent than Saturday. This Sunday, we'll see how Mother's Day goes. I'm actually having my mom over. Nub and I are gonna cook, so gonna do that. If it don't go too late, which it hopefully won't, but if it don't go too late, I'll try and be on. Hopefully we can do some Mass Effect. If not, we may be coming back to this because ain't no way we're getting through all this tonight. So, yeah, I decided to do something a little bit different. I found 3 ultimate quote-unquote horror film tier lists, all from the same creator. They just kept doing more and more horror movies, which, you know, I'm a horror fan. I like it. Have I seen all of them? Hell no. Not by a long shot. Some of them I may know about. And then others, obviously, I have seen maybe once, maybe multiple times. But I figure for the ones I have seen or know anything about, talk about it, see how people feel. Because I know that everybody has the same thoughts on movies. If you've been around for my It rants, my It Part 1, Part 2 rants, then you know that for a fact. I am in that very vocal minority that hates those movies. Hate those movies. So yeah, I figured we'll do this. It's a good chill whatever stream. And then go from there. So I shall bring up the thing here. Let's see. Do I have it programmed? There we are. And I'm going to switch sides. Let's try that as I crunch a chip. Alright. So yeah, we're just going to run through these. I'm not going to like go super fast because obviously the ones that I know, I'm going to talk about what I think, why I think it belongs where it belongs. Obviously, you know, if people have thoughts, I will definitely listen to those as well. Or read them rather, because obviously I'm not going to hear you. So if you feel like screaming at the monitor or your TV or phone or whatever you're watching on, feel free to do so. Makes no mind to me. So first and foremost, we have 1408. Hey, Baraku. 5 streams. Holy shit. It's happening, y'all. I'm coming back. So 1408 is a personal favorite, 100%. Love the casting choices. It's not fully in line with the novella. I am going to be one of those people, by the way, that will either be the book was better or whatever. I don't always say that. The book is not always better. 100%. But I am also that person that will point out I've read the book or the story or the novella, whatever it is. So for 1408, and yes, I have my taskbar, I hide it. So you'll see it pop up from time to time. So 1408 for me is definitely pretty high. I love John Cusack. I love Samuel L. Jackson. Them together And this movie did a really good job. Um, the premise, it's Stephen King, obviously. So once again, you have your main character writer. Uh, it's very Silent Hill the Room in a lot of ways, which I think I'm not sure what came first at this point. I think 1408 came first, but still. Interesting ways to see some connections there. I think what really two things. I do remember seeing it in theaters. I don't go to a lot of theater movies, but I remember seeing it in theaters, and I didn't like the original ending that they put in theaters, which was where he gets Samuel L. Jackson's character gets jump scared by the burnt husk of John Cusack's character in the back, which, I mean, seeing Samuel L. Jackson, yelp in surprise is still funny, but I didn't like that ending as much. Then I got the director's cut. The director's cut ending for me, much better, where the guy who's been railing against the supernatural by writing these books where he goes to haunted places and nothing happens. So I feel like the director's cut ending, and yes, obviously we'll be spoilering movies here, because we have to talk about stuff, right? Because endings can make or break a movie to me. So the director's cut that appealed to me. There's some other endings as well, from what I understand, but the director's cut that I really liked was the one where, yeah, he does all this, winds up in 1408, everything happens, but at the end, his ghost walks away with his daughter. And I just felt that was just a good, complete circle of a story. So it's not like super high budget. It's all pretty much in one area with a few other places, and very much has some Stephen King autobiographical stuff. If you know, you know. But for me, it's not necessarily scary, although, I mean, the ghosts are cool. But also for me, not a lot of things are scary. I'm not someone who watches horror movie to be scared. I watch a horror movie just to be entertained. So I can't really base them on scare factor necessarily. For other people, maybe. But for me, I think for now, unless we see anything else, this is an S tier movie. And I want to put it there because I will routinely watch this one. I have it on DVD because I don't have the Blu-ray, but I also have it digitally. I will go back and watch this movie. It's like almost a yearly situation. I'll go back and watch this movie. So we'll keep that one high for now. 1922. I believe this is yet another king, or is this a hill? Or is it a combo? I can't remember. I think it's a king only. I remember reading it. I remember watching it. I don't remember much about it. Which, that's kind of true with me on a lot of stuff. So let's see. Because I know it was a Netflix movie. I don't know if for someone that'd be a positive or a negative. It's kind of a neutral point. I don't really care if it's a Netflix movie. Okay, it's a Stephen King novella. It was just King then. I don't know. Yeah, I was about to say, I'm pretty sure the novella short story came out first. Not by much. But you can clearly see some influence somewhere with that. I mean, I vaguely remember watching this, and it was okay. I remember reading the novella too. Don't really remember much about that either. I mean, from what I remember, it's interesting. Is it one of his more solid ones? I'm not really sure I could say that either. So clearly it's not hugely memorable. but I do remember key aspects of it. For me, for now, I think we're gonna go just mid. It's gonna be a mid. Not bad, not great for what I remember. Not a bad adaptation. You forgot? Yeah, like I said, it's a yearly watch for me. I love 1408. So this is another Stephen King adaptation, but I couldn't remember much to tell you. I remember, you know, someone being shot, I think. I don't remember much. But I don't remember disliking it. You know what I mean? It wasn't one of those movies where I was like, I just wasted however many minutes or hours of my time. That's when we are looking at some bad shit, is when I'm like, I clearly wasted part of my life that I will never get back. 28 days later. Oh, zombies. Sorta. Sorta zombies, sorta not. Um, I mean, for the premise, they took it in a newer direction, and I can appreciate that. Uh, how do I feel? How do I feel about this one? Bu- 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 bu. I feel like it did a rejuvenation of the classic zombie, maybe. Again, it's not your Romero's. Uh, it's not your Italian zombies. It's something new. And again, I don't even know if I qualify them as zombies at the point of discussion. But I think it's the closest equivalent that we have. And there's been other movies like that, older movies that were similar, but I think they did a good job. It has that very gnarly, grainy feel. They managed to close down a whole busy ass street to shoot, which is impressive. I think for what it is, it's pretty solid. I like what it did with the genre. Um, I to be fair, I don't haven't really watched the sequels, but I haven't always heard the best things about them. But for now, this will stay. It could potentially move. That's the one thing. I'm placing these now, but as we move along, those sliders on parameters may change and things may get shifted around. I have not watched 30 Days of Night yet. So we're going to skip that one for now. And if I have actively said I haven't watched one and you have and you think I need to watch it, please let me know. I've heard about Bone Temple. Haven't seen it, but I have heard. Next is classic. This is classic. OG Nightmare on Elm Street. So I'm gonna have to rip away nostalgia. This is where it's gonna get hard. So I grew up on this. This was one of my early, not super early. I didn't cut my teeth on it, but definitely one of my earliest horror movies. Um, I became a huge Freddy fangirl slash Robert Englund. Um, yeah, I was just a fanatic. I loved Freddy Krueger. I thought he was amazing. Not for some things, but just as a slasher horror character. And again, I just like Robert Englund, which was a big plus towards the character. Also, when I was younger, I obviously, hey, I obviously didn't know all the context of Freddy, so give young me a pass on that one. But as a whole, he's an icon. Heather Langenkamp became an icon. She's a great final girl. She actually did survive. And I mean, it really helped Wes Craven take off for sure, which gave us a lot more stuff down the line. It also gives us Johnny Depp in a very, very early role. I think it was his first major film role. I mean, the effects were great. It wasn't overly gory, but gory enough. I'm not a gore fiend. I don't really aim for those types of movies, and feel for some movies it takes away from the actual enjoyment. I'm sure we'll hit a few of those at some point. Um, but is it an S tier movie? I mean, it's your classic 80s. It's got some things that aren't great. And I know some of it was kind of cut short on being able to do the full background on Freddy, on exactly what he did, which is one of the things they put back into the remake. I have not watched the remake. I'm pretty sure we'll get to that one. I refuse. Actually, did I watch it? No, I think I got forced to watch it. I think I finally succumbed to it, but I don't remember. Whatever it was, I think I fell asleep. I know I fell asleep during Friday the 13th remake. Oh, Jesus. Um, but yeah, I just refused to watch it on principle because it just looked horrible in every aspect. I would say probably God, I love Nightmare, but I feel like it's not strong enough to be an S to me. I will watch through Nightmare on Elm Street. We're actually probably due up for another series watch. It's been a couple years, but it's not one that I will turn to for a good background noise usually. It's not something I'll just throw on because I want to have something on while I'm crocheting or whatever. So I feel like it's solid. It set some groundwork for horror in general. It was a good slasher character that got created. Gave us an iconic glove. Um, but I just don't think it's good enough to go to S tier for me. Um, the next one is called Antlers. This is another one I remember watching. It was okay. I mean, it's more modern horror, so take that for what you will. So, Antlers. And it's a Wendigo movie. I mean, because I think this is around the same time, it was after, but for whatever reason, the Wendigo cryptid slash Native American legend, whatever you want to qualify it as, um, kind of took off. I think Until Dawn had a lot to do with that. But this is a Wendigo movie. And it's one of those things I kind of figured out pretty early on. I feel like it was one of those, it was okay. I did remember spending more time looking up information about it than I did actually watching it. And again, I figured out it was a Wendigo early on. I hate how easy it is to do that. Um, it's child in crisis, weird shit going on, deaths are happening, and then it turns out to be a Wendigo. Eh, I think it's mid. I think it's mid. I would recommend it if you don't mind, or if you want like a kind of a strange thriller horror. Hey, Vanera, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, welcome. We're just going over a horror movie tier list. We actually just got going. We're only on our 6th movie right now, which is Antlers. So yeah, I feel like I would recommend it if you haven't seen it and you want a decent film about Wendigos that isn't wholly apart from their actual legend. Except for the antlers thing. From what I understand, that's not super traditional, but that's okay. I have to make an admission. I have not seen Arachnophobia. So I can't really place it, to be fair. I know a lot about it. I've obviously seen like clips and stuff from it. Yes, I think 1408 is an S tier movie. Thank you. I'm not against personal opinions, but that one is mine. I said I have my qualifiers. I'm thinking these through. I'm not just randomly placing them. But for me, it is an S tier movie. But yes, I have not seen the full Arachnophobia. Bitch, you know better. You'll be back. Now, As Above, So Below. This I have watched a couple times. Once, once to watch it because it's a found footage movie. Um, I like found footage. That's like my guilty pleasure subgenre of horror that I actually will sit and watch. Most of it's not good, to be perfectly frank. Um, As Above, So Below. Yeah, it's pretty decent in in what they're doing with it. It does take place in the Paris catacombs, which I believe they did get permission to film in part of that, if I remember correctly, which for me is kind of neat because the catacombs are cool as shit. So I'm pretty sure some aspect of them took place there. So it's about people who are going into the catacombs illegally. And it's God, this sounds so bad to say, but it basically kind of becomes like a Silent Hill issue. Where it's like everybody's facing this past that they either tried to forget or buried, or wouldn't tell anybody, and their pasts come back to haunt them as a part of the as above, so below situation. But it follows a girl, her dad was doing this, something happened to him, so now she's taking over, and, is your favorite? I mean, it's up there compared to some, because like I said, I have watched a lot of bad found footage. I think for me, and I'm pretty sure it's on the list, my favorite found footage overall is The Taking of Deborah Logan. I love that movie. And like I said, I'm pretty sure it's on one of these lists, and we will eventually get there, but that's my favorite. So I remember watching it the first time, but somewhere in the middle I checked out, which is not a good sign. And then I remember putting it on a couple years ago because I remembered watching it but not remembering any of it. And when I rewatched it, I was like, oh, okay, here's what's going on. So yeah, it's basically people having to, deal with their pasts and this, that, and the other. For quality of found footage, it's actually pretty good. It did set a pretty good standard for that type of film, but again, it also had production behind it, unlike, someone going out with just a cheap ass camera. It's got, like I said, it does go to the catacombs, the real Parisian catacombs, and that's fucking cool as shit. But then we start devolving the story into cliche, again, Silent Hill type stuff, since that's kind of what that series devolved into. So, I don't know. But I had to watch it twice to take it all in, and even then, my second watch through, I still didn't pay that close of attention to it. I remember it being on, and I remember kind of catching more of it than I had before. Honestly, Knives is about to just completely, leave the channel. I think I'm torn. I feel like it's like a B minus. I'll put it in B, but I feel like it's on that lower end of a B for me. I don't think it's quite to C status. I think we're gonna sit here unless something changes, but I think we're gonna sit it, but I want it to clarify, it's more like a B minus. That's fine. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, another one. I'm pretty sure I have had it on at some point as a kid. I remember jack shit about it. I mean, you do you, boo. I ain't gonna stop you. Have not seen this one either. Don't really know much about it. This, obviously, we know. So, Blair Witch Project, the OG. Not the first found footage film, but probably the first one Americans knew about. There were a couple ones in Britain that existed before this one, but it was our first found footage film. Uh, I mean, what it was good. Even now, I feel like it still holds up. Obviously, the fashion gives you away. You can tell this was a 90s film, but I feel like they did a good job. There's a lot of organic scares in this where, production did actually scare the shit out of these guys. Um, yeah, and then, yeah, the whole campaigning. A really good one of the first early uses of that type of campaign online, where they built like a complete website and had all sorts of crazy stuff about what happened, like actual like articles and things that people were confused. People were sending condolence cards to the girl's mother. Like, they did such a good job with that. Nobody knew. Thankfully, director wasn't brought in on murder charges or anything, as has happened before in the past with horror movies. But I think it's solid. Like I said, it's our earliest known found footage. They created a whole thing, like a whole story. They had all these people talk about it. And that's a shame because it's still see, here's my thing. When it came out, God almighty, they don't need to do another one. The last one was bad enough. Just Blair Witch, I've got some issues with that movie. I'm pretty sure it's on this list. We'll talk about it. Ooh, I got some issues with that movie. So Blair Witch Project, I didn't actually watch it when it came out. I was not big. That was during my Broadway musical period. I didn't watch movies. If I did, it was stuff that was older. I didn't watch anything new. So I actually was not involved with like the whole online campaign or any of that. I wasn't even aware of that because I wasn't even doing anything online in 1999. I didn't do online till like the year after. So like, God, I'm old. Jesus fuck. Um But I wasn't involved in all that. So when I did find, and I'm also one of those assholes that's like, oh, it's super popular. It's supposed to be so scary. I'll wait. I refuse to give in to the hype. You killed it, Nana. I refuse to give in to the hype, so I usually won't watch it when it's popular, and I'll wait till all of it dies down and watch it like, oh, okay, that was pretty good. Blair Witch, that's basically how this was. The cultural impact is so hard to ignore because it did such a large amount of that. And I mean, even now, was it not long ago they got the new generation watching it? So I mean, it just seems to keep going. And again, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. And I do actually rewatch this one a lot. Y'all gonna question my thought process and my taste at some point, I'm sure. Actually, the sequel may not the proper sequel, but 2. I doubt Book of Shadows is on a list anywhere. So y'all about to question my taste in movies with me talking about, yeah, this one's pretty good. I like Book of Shadows, but I also like bad movies. So there's a chance we could hit a movie that is bad, but I can appreciate it for how bad it is. And that does give it points, by the way. But Blair Witch, I think, is going to be A. Again, it gave us something new. I think A is going to be a lot at that. S is going to be a bit more personal. But as an adaptation to King, for what it is, there's a lot of reasons it's up here. This is going to be a lot of our icons, I feel like. Like, are they necessarily the best movies? God, no. But did they give us this iconic character, this iconic thing that still perpetuates, I am not going to use the word zeitgeist because I hate it, because everybody suddenly discovered that word for some reason. But it's infiltrated, like, every aspect of horror culture in a way, and that's just where it's going to go. The Blob. Um, I mean, it's the Blob. I remember watching it as a kid on TV. It was alright. It's not one I would probably go back to now. Is it kind of iconic? Yeah, it is. Never seen Blob? I've seen the original and the remake. They're both pretty on par with each other. It's just one's in color. Uh, I don't know. Like, you gave us some iconic stuff. People, you say, you've seen the Blob, or ask if they've seen the Blob. They may not have seen it, but they can picture exactly what's being talked about. Like, we just know what the Blob is. But it's not really, like, that exciting of a movie. I get why the original, back in a heyday, was probably one of them types of movies. But in the 80s, or was it the 80s, early 80s when they did the remake? I don't know. It's just... It just is. Yes, it gave us a thing that we know about, but it's just... It is subdued, but it's over subdued, you know what I mean? And it's just a gelatinous cube that's lost its cube shape. It's go and see. This is one of those that would probably be okay if you got together with friends and watched it so that you could kind of, Mystery Science 3000 Red Letter Media the thing. But as like a solo person, I'm just not going to sit down and watch The Blob. So, yeah, that's what we're gonna go with. I actually haven't seen Bone Tomahawk. That was actually just recently. I think we were doing like trivia or something, and that movie came up, and he was like, we're gonna have to watch that." Boogeyman. I have put it on. I actually have put that on. I go through shitty looking movies and the freebie movies on, whatever platforms I can find. I remember putting Boogeyman on, but I could not tell you anything about it because it was literally just in the background while I did something completely separate. I'm gonna leave it off for now because if I can't even remember anything, I'm not gonna do it, even if I've seen it. And that's one of them. That's one of them. Little Shop of Horrors is good. Cabin Fever. Mm, eh. I'm so critical of horror movies, y'all. I can't help it. It's... I don't know. Is the sex scene? Well, I mean, it's Eli Roth. He knows what he's doing. And I'm also going to go ahead and say I'm not a big Eli Roth fan. So, I'm not sure. It's... I'm gonna have to put it here. I'm just not a fan of what he does. Nah, nah. And if I were to watch that without knowing, I could tell you it was probably one of his involvements, just based on how it's filmed and how it does. Yeah, it's just not a go for me. OG Child's Play. This is a good one. Again, this is it takes a premise that's already been introduced and takes it to the next level. Uh, if you watch Twilight Zone, they had an episode of that with a doll called Talking Tina, and she does wind up killing an abusive stepdad. And that's what it is. It is a killer doll episode. This takes that and just ups it. And Chucky, for what he is, I mean, it's a fucking doll. It's up there. I mean, it's a fucking doll. The only reason, and I think for me, and probably a lot of people, the only reason this movie still makes place on a lot of lists is because of Brad Dourif's performance as Chucky. I think if you don't have Brad Dourif doing Chucky, don't think this thing takes off as much as it does. It is wonderful puppetry and all that. Like they did a really good job with the doll. But I mean, it's a fucking redheaded doll. The only thing it's got going is Brad Dourif. And I love Brad Dourif when he does his Chucky stuff. It's just great. I also equally like him as Wormtongue. And what's his name from Exorcist 3? He he's just so good. So the special effects, I agree. Special effects are up there, but the whole premise is really stupid. It does spawn so many sequels. Chucky became one of those fucking phenomenon, especially when you added Tiffany. And part of that's just, again, if it weren't for Jennifer Tilly as Tiffany, I don't see that happening. I just feel like they got the most perfect people to make the stupid doll horror shit work. So for me, he's iconic, yes, but overall, if it weren't for the special effects and the performance from Brad Dourif, this movie wouldn't have done what it did. And you can tell that because as the movies go on, you get so much more shit from Chucky being taught. It's very apparent. But it's not one that I'm just gonna sit my ass down and watch. Uh, there's one later that I will, because it's the premise is so dumb. It's even dumber. But this one, he's up there. He still gave us a lot. I mean, he's in Dead by Daylight for fuck's sake. So he'll stay mid. He'll stay mid. Chopping Mall. Hmm. Okay. It's I mean, it's kind of just the one of those one-off movies that it's robots that lose control, essentially. Um, and they go around and kill, blow up all the teenagers that are still in the mall after hours because they're having like a sleepover or something, as teenagers do in malls. Um, actually, yeah, brain. I think we've got an actual copy of the game. Do we have a Dreamcast? I don't remember. I think we do. If we don't, we can get one. But I actually have the physical disc. So for Chopping Mall, eh, it's a good time. It's one of those that it's a good time. It's cheesy 80s horror because it's weird looking little early Wally looking robots that lose control and do things. But is it? I think this is one of those you have to be with the right people or in the right frame of mind to appreciate it. Christine. Stephen King adaptation. It's decent. From what I remember, it's been a while since I've read the story. I mean, car gets a crush on its owner. Car kills people that it gets pissed off at because they make fun of its owner. Ayos, don't remind me of my age. I mean, it's a classic Stephen King weird ass thing when he did a lot of. He had several stories there where it was like things coming to life. I mean, people know what Christine is. They know the movie. You say the word Christine or how, and a lot of people know it's Stephen King, but is it really that good? I don't know if I could say it's that good. It it's known. It's known. But it's just I don't know. I think that's a C. It's we haven't hit this level yet, and honestly, if there was an F, I'd probably have a few of them in there at some point too. But it's just it's not even mid for me. If it's on, that's great, but it's just no. Haven't watched Class of '84. Uh, okay, I'm gonna have to put like an asterisk on my found footage card because I actually haven't watched Cloverfield. I'm not a big kaiju, big monster person. Those just aren't my cup of tea when it comes to movies. The only Godzilla movie I've actually voluntarily sat down and watched and enjoyed is Shin Godzilla. I really liked that one. That one was really good. Uh, I just really like the Godzilla design. But yeah, haven't watched Cloverfield. See, I haven't watched Neon Genesis, but I've seen enough, and I know that the director like was involved with that as well, and I know that's where a lot of inspiration came from. So you can tell. I just really liked the idea of how Godzilla isn't just a creature, but he's like a creature in pain because he's just constantly mutating. Oh yeah, I saw you were doing some watches. Gotcha. Um, but I really like I read the premise of that one and then I wound up watching it because I just liked the premise of it and then I was like, oh, that's cool. So I haven't watched Cloverfield. We'll have to skip that one. Nub actually did get me to sit down and watch 10 Cloverfield Lane. That one that was good. That was real good. That's probably on here somewhere too. Next up is Creep. So I'm gonna redeem my card because this is another found footage. Uh, it's pretty good actually. It just has that weirdness factor about it. So, if I'm not mistaken, it's basically where a guy, I can't remember, he puts out a does he put out an ad? But basically he needs someone to follow him around and videotape him. Um, yeah, it's a Craigslist ad. I'm like, I'm gonna have to look that up. It's gonna bother me. But basically, this guy is going to film this other dude in a remote place because let's see, he says he claims to be terminally ill and wants a video diary for his unborn child. But it starts off very normal, and then as it keeps progressing, this dude just gets like super fucking weird. And it's psychological horror, and it is one of those where the guy in front of the camera is very good at being unnerving. It's just little things that he does throughout the movie, especially when he's being like kind of weird about it. This I feel like oh god, it's such mm, I think you also see full frontal in this one if I am not mistaken. Hey, look. Ladies been bearing their tops long enough for horror. About time some men be taking off the bottoms, okay? All I'm saying. Fair's fucking fair. But it's not bad. It's not bad. And I would say It's not one I'm going to go back and watch a lot, but it still has a lot of really good moments. And the fact that it solely relies on these two guys and mainly just the one. Uh, mm, I would say he's a B, but it's gonna be a very low B. You know what I mean? So for now, these right here, these are okay. Yeah, I feel like that's alright right now. And actually, I think I may... Yeah, there we go. That's a little bit better. Because the Blob's definitely still not that amusing, but so far... Actually, I'm going to put As Above, So Below. I think for me, that's a very high B, for sure. And I think so far I'm good with these. But yeah, it's solid in what it does. It doesn't redefine the genre, but it does give you this very odd acting guy, and he does such a good job with it. Creep Show, more Stephen King, Via Romero. That is a big combo. God, this I would say maybe there's some nostalgia in this as well, but I gotta give this an A. It's just so bizarre in its own way. You get Stephen King doing weird shit. The way they do all the colors and all of that with the filmography, it's a unique movie. And again, you got Stephen King being involved, you get Romero involved. It's a hell of a wombo combo that we see in other movies as well. So I think that's gonna have to be an A. And honestly, it's probably gonna be a little bit above Blair Witch Project for me. So we're gonna go with that. And before we continue, my apologies, my folks. I need to go to the bathroom. Okay, back now. Alright, so next up is Critters. So, Critters was an answer to be a more scary type of gremlin. They don't talk in English, but you get subtitles, which is bizarre. And they're just nasty little things that run around and torment people. There is one that just yells the word fuck at some point, which is kind of funny. His little partner gets blown away by a shotty, and yeah, he just screams, and then the thing says the word fuck. The subtitle says the word fuck. I mean, it's okay. Again, people know Critters because people know Gremlins, and like I said, this was kind of a way to make that same idea just more horror-y. So, a lot of people know what the critter is. They recognize, like, the puppet if you show it. It's a cult movie, I think. Not for me. I do have mine. This is not for me, though. But it is one of those that developed the cult following, kind of like Chud. Aqua Teen Hunger Force for those. Know the reference in that. It's barely, but it's gained a big following. People like the critters. I'm gonna say it's a really high C. It's still not a spectacular movie. Like, by any stretch of the imagination. It has its moments, but meh. So this may be another S tier for me, by the way. So this is Cube. I love this movie. This is one of my routine, I go back and watch a lot movie. For what it is, it's very, for its time, low-budget Canadian film. About people trapped in a cube building, and the cubes move, and they have to try and find their way out. It's really good. It's done so simply, just by moving panels and this, that, and the other. You have a really good cast of characters. So good, in fact, that Saw 2 ripped it off. I'll never forgive Saw 2 for that. But it does have that nasty little piece of it where it's not, I don't know if it's great representation of someone on the autism spectrum, disorder spectrum, but it's, everything about it, it's very thought out. The names of the people is kind of meh. But it does such good stuff, really good effects. Again, not a high budget movie. And it's all very practical, which makes it even better. I love movies that have a lot of good practical type effects. I don't do the CG shit, man. Yeah, I remember that. I remember reading that before. Original Saw's good. But I don't know if I can S tier this one. It is great. It is great. And it does... Here's a little piece, if you don't know. The woman in Cube, I don't remember which one she is. Well, I do. I don't remember her name. I'm going to be really bad about that tonight. I'm not going to remember names. But she's the one, the older blonde lady who's the medical background who was taken while eating pierogies. Her? She's a random churchgoer that you very clearly can see in the first Silent Hill movie. We were watching it not too long ago, and we got to that part where the first one is, and I'm pretty sure it's the one whose daughter Anna gets killed by Pyramid Head. But I remember looking at that woman, I'm like, that girl, she looks real familiar. And then I looked it up and I saw her face for real. I'm like, that's the Cube lady. So there's a crossover there. It also has a character an actor from Kingdom Hospital, which I really like that. He also does a lot of other horror movies, come to find out. Apparently that was just his thing. It's an A movie. As much as I really love it, and I'm gonna put it at the top. As much as I really do love it, it's got a few things now that aren't probably handled as well as they could have been. And, it did get a really bad Japanese remake. I was gonna say, it's not like anybody really messes with it too much anymore, and not many people really know about it. But they did get a really bad remake. Oh well, it's gonna stay where it's at for now. Cujo! Oh. Rabid animal. That's automatically, like, hell no from me. For anybody who's never heard the story, when I was younger, my mom and I were chased by a rabid raccoon. Doesn't sound threatening until you actually face the idea that this critter that is faster than you is rabid and is chasing your ass down. In the middle of nowhere, by the way. We were in the middle of nowhere visiting my grandparents. So I don't like rabid anything. Like, ugh, no. So automatically, but the premise is pretty frightening, and it's one of those that's rooted in reality. Could this happen? Yeah, it could. I mean, Georgia right now has a few areas that are under rabies warning. One had a cat, one had I believe, a raccoon that tested positive. Yes, Cujo is a Stephen King adaptation. And, you know, it's basically about a mom and her child who get trapped in a car in the middle of kind of nowhere with a rabid dog. Puppers did a hell of a job. He did a good job at his movie. For being a big squishy Saint Bernard, he looked fierce. I mean, even with my personal fear of a rabid animal, the tension's really good, because there is tension there. It does good with that, and I mean, that's all you have to work with at that point is tension, because you're just in one place, you're in a car. And then you're the area surrounding the car as you watch the dog. I would probably say Cujo, and a lot of people know that reference. He's another one that I don't think it's the King written word that people know Cujo from. It's the movie. I'm gonna say probably right here. I'm gonna put him with Chucky again. Iconic stuff. We know what these are. Not necessarily the best movies, but they're not something I would turn away from. I feel okay with that. Deep Blue Sea. Oh, okay. This was actually a more recent watch for me. I did not see it when it first came out, which is kind of funny because when I was a kid, one of my first movies ever was Jaws. And I loved watching Jaws every year. So the fact that I didn't watch any more shark movies is kind of strange, but I did watch this not too long ago. It's the CG shark is terrible. Let's be real. But it's got that iconic moment, y'all, where they just rip the rug right out from under you, and this amazing Samuel L. Jackson character that you think's gonna be the badass that saves the day just gets fucking ate, man. That is a Hitchcock move. That's what that is. It's really good. It does a good job of towing that line. Yeah, it's tongue-in-cheek. It does a very good job of towing that line of, yeah, there's something genuinely, like, creepy happening here. And also, just some of the weirdness of it with what you see. So, like I said, they pulled that Alfred Hitchcock-ass move where the main character is gone within the first half of the movie. That's from Psycho. I'm sure we'll probably talk about that at some point on the list. So, yeah. And it's one of those that is an enjoyable watch. LL Cool J, he helps that a lot, where he is that comedic relief for sure. Yes, Thomas Jane. Yeah, that's the main character. So it's just a hell of a time. It's one of those that it's just fun, and I think when you have even more people with you, it's a lot of fun. Who doesn't love a good shark movie? It's not quite ahead of Creepshow, but it's definitely ahead of Blair Witch, I think. It's a fun time. So we'll go with that. I haven't watched Demon Wind. Haven't watched Demoni, although God, I almost did one day. I know it's one of those you're supposed to watch. I just haven't gotten there yet. The Descent. This is kind of like an as above, so below situation for me. I've read that creepypasta. That's the problem. There's a creepypasta about weird cave creatures that my brain goes there first. So that's all I could think about. And that's such a bad creepypasta. I don't remember what it's called, but yeah. But there's a whole thing with this movie, though. Like, yeah, it's all about some horror shit, but there's also that overarching story about the woman. You know, it's kind of like a metaphorical parallel thing happening all at the same time. And I don't have a fear of caves. I like caves. Back when I was younger and smaller, I really wanted to do spelunking, but nobody would go with me. It would never happen. But I like caves. My only issue is there's just so much screaming. Like, there's just a lot of that. I'll give it a low 8. It's good. It does a pretty good job of what it is. It's better to me than As Above, So Below, I think, on that level. Blah blah blah. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of where my split's gonna happen, is probably between these two. OG Dracula, throwing it back. With Bela Lugosi. I'm assuming they're talking. This is probably going to be the one where they actually had music, because there was a quieter one. The Descent. First time watch. Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch it for a while. It was okay. Again, not one I'll probably run back to a lot, but it was definitely a little bit on the upper scale of things for what it is. I would say OG Dracula, I mean, he's iconic. Most of the time when you think of Dracula, even never seen classic Universals, it's been a long, long time since I've watched the classics, but I definitely did a few times throughout my life. Mainly because I like the actors. I like Bela Lugosi. I love Boris Karloff. A lot of it. Lon Chaney Jr. not so much. I haven't really seen as much of his stuff as I have Bella and Boris. I mean, it's fucking Dracula, man. He's iconic. The voice is iconic, because everybody who does a Dracula immediately does the Bela Lugosi. They don't go to anybody else, right? You can't argue with that. Now, is it... God, I'm torn, because for me, it's one of those movies that, yeah, it's pretty good. I'm gonna put him up a little bit higher. It's still a B, but I think it's a higher B than towards the back. Yeah, I think that's where we're gonna go with it. Alright. This is gonna probably be pretty cliche, but I think we know this is gonna go up here. Exorcist is S tier. And specifically the director's cut. Or the version you didn't see in theaters, or whatever they called it. It had like a name. S fucking tier. I did not watch this until I was older. So, yeah. It is up there. And I have read the book. And I will go ahead and tell you, they pulled what they could off. The book had some really fucking weird sequences. So, as an example, you know in the director's version, the version they didn't show in theaters, where she does the backwards walk down the stairs, right? That is creepy. Creepy scene. In the book, it's even weirder and creepier because it talks about how the nanny or whoever is walking through a door with a tray, and then it says something like she wasn't aware of the Reagan, her back bent, her spine bent backwards, her tongue licking at her ankles or some shit like that. Oh my god, it was fucking freaky as hell. And I'm like, yeah, they couldn't have put that in a movie. But super fucking iconic. It's actually going to go ahead of 1408. People are afraid to watch it. People were afraid to watch it because there are people who firmly believe it is a cursed film, and to be fair, a lot of crazy shit did happen during the making of this movie. That is for sure. Some people are afraid it will bring like a demon into their homes. This is for fucking real. But you have Max von Sydow doing a wonderful job. I love Max von Sydow. And you don't see him for much. The age makeup on that man was ridiculous. I don't know how they did it. But it was just so good. And honestly, if you pull up like a current, like one of his most current pictures, like probably 2019, 2018. I know he passed in 2020. But as he got older, he actually started looking like the makeup job they did in that movie. It's insane. But you have a lot of wonderful practical effects. Again, we're back to the practical effects. That is what I love to see. Watch the Crow. Yeah, it was. So much stuff happened. This and Poltergeist. Those two, lots of crazy shit. And then, of course, unfortunate things happening anyway. So, and then it made a 4-minute portion of a 4-hour performance of Tubular Bells very popular. There's a lot of lines, a lot of iconic lines that people know. They just know. You can show a picture of that staircase and a lot of people will just know what that is because of the movie. And again, it's just out there. You don't have to have watched it to recognize a lot of this. That's just how it is. So this is one of those movies that did that. And again, I read the book. I feel like it did a really, and of course it helped the author also was writing the script. But it did a really good job. He adapted it so well that I can't really say I recommend one over the other, but I do recommend, if you haven't, read the book or the audiobook. I think you'll probably appreciate it. But yeah, for those that don't know, the portion of Tubular Bells that they choose for this movie is very tiny. The whole performance is long as fuck. And actually, my first time ever hearing that, the Exorcist theme as they like to call it, do y'all remember the original Pure Mood CD? It was on there. And I still have that CD. It's in my car. The OG. They actually have that segment of that song isolated. It's not but like 4.5 minutes, I think. But that was the first time I didn't even see this movie, but I really like Tubular Bells because I heard it on that CD. And when I finally watched the movie, I'm like, oh, that's where it's from. I still own that bitch. The others, they did a lot of sequels. I don't have any of them. I just like the first one. Remy. The Faculty. Oy. Also, we were starting to see this fucking cover become very standard formation by you can really pinpoint some eras of movies by their covers. The Faculty's alright. It's alright. It's got some casting, but I remember watching it with Nub because I actually hadn't seen it until a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken, like 2 years ago. And we were watching movies from around this time, and he's like, "We should put this on." And I'm like, "Okay, I've never seen it." I remember watching it, but I don't really remember, like, I think I was busy looking up stuff. But, like, I know it has a lot of really big named actors. I'm pulling up some information now, so if I go a little silent, I'm just pulling up stuff. For some of the movies that I've watched, I'll probably pull up, like, something on my phone just to double check. But yeah, casting list. Like, holy shit. You have, Josh Hartnett, Selma Hayek, Famke Janssen, Piper Laurie. If you don't know, you better know. Phoebe Newirth. Also, if you don't know, you should know. She's in Jumanji. Usher. Jon Stewart. Elijah fucking Wood. You know, it's got fucking Frodo. It's got such a crazy ass cast, but the movie itself was just lackluster? Yeah, the T-1000. Yeah. Made sense, right? It's just... I get it. I mean, it's just one of those movies that was of its time. You know what I mean? It definitely is of that 90s, like mid to late 90s era. You can tell. Oof. I'm gonna say it's probably gonna wind up being a pretty low B. It, like I said, it's of its time, you can tell, but it's not really flashy. Now, the next one kinda is on its own here. So this is where you've got a really good blend of kinda like that, not complete comedy, but kinda that strangeness that became that mixture where it's horror, but some of it's very tongue-in-cheek, kind of haha, but not really haha. So this one stands in a really good spot. It spawned so many sequels. And it's one of those, like, the sequels knew what they were doing. They knew people weren't really here necessarily for a storyline per se. They knew what people wanted. They wanted to see these unique kills happening and the way they're foretold, because there's a lot of that. Where if you're watching, it gives you little hints about what's going to happen. This is not the one that scarred a generation, but it's the one that gave us the one that did. And I think you have to respect that a little bit. And also it's got Tony Todd in it, man. I'm kind of very partial to Tony Todd movies because I like Tony Todd. And then it's got Devon Sawa, and he was in a terrible Danzig movie. This one's gonna have to go A tier. Does it surpass Blair? Yeah, it surpasses Blair Witch. I'm gonna put over Deep Blue Sea. They're both really fun times, but I think Final Destination is more of a fun time. I haven't seen the newest one. I haven't seen Bloodlines. I really need to, because that was like Tony Todd's final big thing. But yeah, it's gotta be up there. The next one is Firestarter. It's more Stephen King. It's basically, it's another little pyromancer. What the fuck do you want? It's not really one of those that I run to or even remember half the time. And didn't they just remake it, or aren't they remaking it? They did remake it in oh god, with Zac Efron. Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure I remember seeing something about a remake. I mean, it's more pyrokinesis. Is it really like... It's not bad. I haven't seen the remake. Again, it's one of those, like, I'm aware of it, but it's just not... It's another King adaptation, of course. It's Drew Barrymore. It's still not... I'll put it here. It's one of those that's probably kind of borderline, but probably more on this end. For Pyromancer versus Stephen King, there's pretty much only one that really needs to be up here, but I get it. The Fly. And this is the Goldblum version. We're gonna say S tier. It's not one that I'm gonna routinely watch, because there's just too much gooey, nasty bleh to me. I don't like all that. But this is one of those. It's one of those times, you know, I remember the original, and then they remade it, and this is one of those times the remake, gorgeous. Like, you could not beat this remake. Goldblum's amazing. Gina Davis is in it, she's really good. But the special effects, again, that's one of the reasons I can't watch it, is some of those effects are very stomach churning. And I'm not one of those people that just, like, gets easily nauseated by gore. It's not even gore, and I think that's the problem. It's not gory to me. It doesn't have the gore factor, but it's just all the sticky, stringy, puddly, pulsating things that I don't like. But again, this one gives us a lot of people who haven't even seen it, but by God, they'll recognize stuff out of it. And just, again, I think if you don't get those special effects in there, you don't get the same level of this movie. That is really where this movie came through. And in tandem to Jeff Goldblum, because who doesn't love Jeff Goldblum? He's one of those, no matter what he does, he's just Jeff Goldblum. So I think, yeah, this is going to be a pretty good S tier, and the only reason, because I'm like that, it's gonna be below. It's gonna be lower. It's just I can't deal. And you'll understand what I mean later, I'm sure. But with this, I can't deal. Get Out, the next one. Ooh. It's good. It's real good. The whole thing with the hypnosis and just the premise of it is fucked up. And then you get the Cheerio eating scene, or was it Fruit Loops? Whatever it was. That shit was wild, and if I'm not mistaken, it was just improv that way. God, that's a wonderful movie. I've watched it a couple times. I think I watched it and then I had Nub watch it with me. Yeah. And the acting on all parts is so good. It's definitely S tier. It's definitely S tier. It's so bizarre. So bizarre. And it's one of those that I remember just actively in the movie talking about how good it is. Usually if that happens, it's going to be a pretty high ranking one. There's going to be another one that's going to come up that I'm going to be like, yep, I couldn't stop talking about how much I really enjoyed all these different aspects of it while it was happening. Ghost Ship. Is this the remake? I think this might be the remake. Yeah. I'm like, that doesn't look blurry enough to be the OG's cover. Do we want to count this as both the remake, which I have not seen the remake, or the OG? Are we good with just splitting the difference on this one? Apparently F was The Faculty and Firestarter. That was the F. There are 2 other lists where they've gone through and done more of the alphabet, so this is just the first one. We've got a lot more happening, okay? It may not all be tonight, but there's 2 more of the same list where they went through and redid more titles and stuff. I mean, honestly, I remember watching the OG version. I don't get the hype. Apparently, it has a cult following. People like it. I didn't like it. I fell asleep. I literally fell asleep watching this movie, and I was not tired. Maybe that's on me. If that's all it's got, I can't... Okay, if there was an F, they didn't give me an F, but if there was an F, it wouldn't be an F, it would be an D, okay? It's not failing. But I can't. I fell asleep. Okay, who's ready for another confession? I've never watched the Ghoulies. I've never watched Ghoulies. Never watched Ginger Snap. Nub keeps trying to get me to watch Ginger Snap. It just hasn't happened yet. I think this is Graveyard Shift. I did not watch that one. Listen, everybody's got their likes. I don't know. I fell asleep. Have not seen Hell Night. Have seen Hellraiser. And he's going S tier. I have read the story and I have seen the movie. So it's Wes Craven. I like Wes Craven as a writer. I've read a lot of his stuff. Hellraiser is a movie, kind of a weird premise. Definitely not something you really saw too much prior. The BDSM was real. But it gave us some very iconic lines. Gave us one of the best horror actors, I think. I adore Doug Bradley. He just seems like such a sweet guy. Who plays this this hell priest, as he is called. Didn't even have a name to start. As a matter of fact, he wasn't even supposed to be the leader. He became the leader. Practical effects again. They ran out of money for finishing up the effects. So the ending's a little rough when you've got all the lightning because they had to hand draw it because they ran out of budget. That's a little jank. But the puppet for the, oh my god, what is it called? I forgot. But that puppet is amazing. Everything about this is just so good. We get a 2-for-1. We get Pinhead and we get a Lament configuration. You know, 2 really big pieces of iconic stuff from the same movie. Did it spawn a bunch of sequels that maybe weren't that great? Well, yeah. We are not going to talk about Judgment and Revelation. They don't count. And I have a real soft spot for Hell World. It's so bad, but it's got Superman, it's got Lance Henriksen. I can't say no. 2 is really good. I can't deal with the way the Doctor talks after he becomes a Sinnoh. But, it kind of irks my nerves. Makes my brain not feel good. But yes, it's a good movie. But Hellraiser's gonna be S tier all the way. It's too good. Just too good. So he's gonna be up here. Do I think it's... I don't think I can put it above Get Out, though. Is it that great? Yes. But I don't know if I can put it there. It still has some shortcomings, don't get me wrong. Some of it being part of that ending. But it's up there. For sure. Hell House. I somehow missed Hell House. Hell House LLC. Oh, how did I miss Hell House LLC? So this is some some found footage. Low A. Low A. I've watched the first Hell House LLC multiple times. I really like it as a found footage person. Good production value on it. They have a pretty good reason to have the video cameras out. They're like filming their whole making a haunted house type situation. Kind of a predictable twist. I don't think they're really trying to make it too twisty, to be honest. But I feel like it's a really good job. They did a good job with that. So I think it's out there. Do I think it's better? No. I think it stays here. I think it stays here for now. But I've watched that and the director's cut of it. There's technically 2 versions. It's gonna stay there for now. Hereditary. This is S tier. And I think it's S tier above at least Hellraiser. It might climb. I'm not sure yet. That is ooh. I've watched it 4 times. I will not watch it again for a while. I watched it twice by myself. Because I watched it the first time, I was like, I probably need to do this again. I feel like I missed some stuff. And you watch it again and you do start picking up on stuff. Then I watched it with Nub, and then I watched it with friends at Nub. So it's so good. I can't, it's one of those that I can't really speak super highly enough of. The premise behind it, and that's what I think I really like about it. It's a possession movie, but it's such a non-clichéic form of the possession movie. I love a good possession movie. Exorcist is up here. Hi. I like my found footage, and I do like my demon possession movies. Apparently that's another subgenre I'm into, and sometimes they overlap a lot, actually. Anywho, it's up there. For that type of movie, all the actors are so good. They all should have had some more recognition than I think they got. Toni Collette, I think she got robbed. She deserved an award, 100%, especially for the one table scene. That scene was ridiculous. But yeah, I can't say it's gonna be any lower than that. It's dark, it's family drama, but being drawn alongside this whole possession thing. And it made the sound of a tongue click ultra creepy. You know? Like, I'll randomly do that. I'll be in the house and I'll just click my tongue. Num knows what it is, so he'll just like laugh because he knows what I'm doing. But just something so simple. It got made really, really creepy. The writing's great. The tension, you feel the tension. You feel the weirdness even though you can't really place it until the second watch through, and then it's like, ugh. So I feel like it deserves so much praise. And it did get so much praise. It really did. So it's gonna be up there. The Hills Have Eyes. I haven't watched the unrated version. And it's a remake. Most of the time, I'm not going to be into the remakes. There's obviously those exceptions. This is not one of them. I mean, it's the same premise, but it's just done with updated. You know what? It's ahead of Ghost Ship. It's just not one of mine. Here comes my personal bias. House on Haunted Hill. I will sit and watch this movie on a yearly basis, so it's already gonna rank pretty high. And I actually didn't see this version for the longest time until I actually watched the sort of remake called The Haunting, where it's just like creepy stuff, but it's like completely rewritten to be something else. But House on Haunted Hill. Vincent fucking Price. Like, it's just Vincent Price being Vincent Price creepy. Oh shit, is this cat chasing something? Ziggy? Ziggy acts like he's chased something into the room. We've been having a couple... No, that's not it. Okay, that's not what I think it is. Okay, hold on. I thought that was a roach. It's not a roach. I don't think. Ziggy, what you find, buddy? What you chasing? Sir? I think whatever it was went behind my bookcase. But, last Friday, I had a roach situation happen. Then Sunday, they're the big flyers that come in from outside because we just had a shit ton of rain. This cat has definitely cornered something. I don't know what. I think it's some sort of bug. Nothing has crawled out yet. But I have a deep-seated phobia, like hardcore phobia of roaches. And that hasn't gone so well for me. But whenever we get like a lot of rain all at once, we tend to have this happen just because we have a lot of outside yard and a big old tree in the front. So hate them bitches. Okay, well, nothing's showing up right now and he's not moving at the moment. Did you lose it? Also, it wasn't a frog. I don't want to have to deal with that either. Just because I don't want to deal with a frog. Anywho. But speaking of the cats, that's Ziggy. He's named after Danzig. Because Danzig got into horror movies. But my other cat, my Tuxie, my 11-year-old Loafy Loaf, his name is Vinny. But he is named after Vincent. His name is Vincent Per Rice. If y'all get it, y'all get it. So, I already do that. I fell in love with Vincent Price as a very young kid. I liked listening to him talk. Because I was watching these types of movies with my mom when I was real young. Between these types of movies, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, Alfred Hitchcock movies. Okay, no, that's a shadow. Between all those and Twilight Zone, that's what I cut my teeth on. So, House of Wax, House on Haunted Hill, those types of things were kind of my kid bread and butter. And House on Haunted Hill is, like I said, it's Vincent being Vincent, being his creepy self. I feel like this is, and I do watch this one. I recommend this one. I feel like I'm going to put this one, I'll put it actually here. I've actually probably watched it more than I have Blair Witch Project. It's not going to be for everybody, to be honest, and I know that. But for me, it's just that old school, early horror, because it's black and white. They do have a color version, but the one I always saw was in black and white. And it's just so good. And again, I just like listening to Vincent talk. He's just got one of those voices. House, I remember watching. I don't remember a lot about it. I know it also is one of those that kind of has a cult following. I wish I remembered more about it. It better not have come over here. I don't think it did. I think he's just annoyed he lost whatever it was. I still haven't seen anything. Well, I'm sorry you lost it. I didn't do that. You did. Anywho. Yeah, I don't remember a lot about this movie. I know it has some is one that's had decent effects for the time. Because I can't remember as much about it as I should, even though a lot of people, from what I understand, actually really like it. I'm just going to put it here. Again, I know I've watched it. I remember enough, but it's not one that just sticks out. The original Howling. Ooh. werewolf movie. Early werewolf movie. Pretty good effects. Especially for the time. Bad sequels. But we're not judging the sequels, we're judging... Would you stop destroying the rug? Cass lost his fucking mind. The first movie's still pretty good. It holds up. It does have a weird animated werewolf fucking scene. I don't know. I'm gonna say probably a high B. It's pretty, it's another one of those, people kind of know what it is just because of what it is. And for being an early werewolf movie, they did a really good job with it. We'll leave it be. Moving on. I said they may not be on this list, but there are two others that this person has done. So we'll see. Okay. So, haven't seen this one. Humanoids from the D, haven't seen that. Insidious. Okay. Insidious is... So Insidious is gonna be one of those that... I'm gonna have thoughts. And there gonna be some weird but unique thoughts. It is a James Wan movie. That's enough said for one. It's one of those you can look at, you can tell this is one of his. It just has that look, that feel. You know what I mean if you've paid attention. It's got another overuse of Patrick Wilson. That man, I think he finally faded away a little bit, but for a while there, he was in fucking everything. Granted, my first exposure to him was as Raoul in The Phantom of the Opera with Gerard Butler, and you know, heh. But, yeah, he just wound up being in everything, and it kind of got annoying, and I'm not gonna lie, that kind of can take a movie down. Also, has a person who's in a lot of New Line Cinema movies because she's the sister to the CEO, and that is Lin Shaye. You actually see her in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1. She's the teacher for Nancy when she falls asleep in class. That's Lin Shaye. But yes, she's sister to the CEO. So she kind of just shows up in movies. How much of that's nepotism, I don't know. But it's very sus. The premise is good. I mean, it's another, you know, demon-y, semi-possession-y type thing happening. I was not scared by our look at the demon the first time we see it, because I'm like, that's fucking Darth Maul. What the fuck are y'all doing? And it's, what's his name? Is his first name Jeffrey? God, I can't remember. He's like the big creature player who's done... Is it Jeffrey Jones? Something Jones. Doug Jones? Doug Jones. God damn it. But he's the one who plays a lot of creatures. He's the creature in this one. He's just one of the... He's lanky. He has good movement. I get it. But the paint job they did on that creature's face, that demon's face, and he just looks like fucking Darth Maul from Phantom Menace. Like, huh? Come on, y'all gotta tell me. It's not telling me. Anywho. But, I mean, it is what it is. It's, again, it's kind of... it's not really stereotypical, but it's also not like it's not derivative. And it's like a combo of possession slash dream walking, which is its own weird thing, but you're not, I don't know. I feel like we're looking at a B movie. Was I scared of it? Of course not. The premise is fine. Again, it just looks like it belongs as part of that whole Conjuring universe shit that James Wan started. So, yeah, it's just gonna fall right here. End of it. Don't care. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. OG. I mean, it is what it is. Is it one of those that I go out of my way to watch? No. Will I turn it off? Probably not. Again, we got some iconic stuff out of it. Again, people get references. You know, the pointing with the mouth open, the screaming. So much parodying of that. You can't get away from it. It clearly had impact. It's just one of those older movies. I'm not gonna actually go, hey, let's watch it, but I'm not gonna say no to it. I just saw what's up next. Oh, I'm gonna piss some people off. Oh, we gonna piss some people off. Ooh. Ooh, it's gonna piss somebody off. I don't give two fucks. Now, I'm gonna give it some dues. I'm gonna give it some dues here, okay? It's gonna be a very high D. Very, very borderline between my C and my D here. And when I get to part 2, that could actually push it up a little bit. I'm not sure yet. For those that have been around, I've gone on a 3-hour tirade about this fucking movie, okay? It's a bad horror movie. It follows way too many fucking tropes and cliches. Fuck the stupid fast running thing that looks so dumb. And they missed the whole goddamn point of Pennywise. Now, am I saying the 90s made-for-TV movie did it great? Nope. But I feel like you still have a moment of off-puttingness with Tim Curry before he goes off the deep end as Pennywise. Like, if Tim Curry's just standing there, he looks like a clown. He just looks like a clown. But then he goes into creepy, weird shit that he does. And then he's Pennywise, and you're like, oh shit. Skarsgård is scary from the get-fucking-go. That, in and of itself, is a problem. Because the whole point of Pennywise... My Southern's gonna come out, y'all. The Pennywise the Dancing Clown is that he looks like a normal ha-ha-ha clown until you get close to him, and then he changes. That's the point. The kids taste better when they're afraid. So the more fear he builds up, or if he needs a quick, well, technically it's a she, needs a quick fix of food after waking up, they'll take what they can get, right? That's just one part of it. A big part, but a part. And then they start going through and changing roles of these children, of what they were versus, you know, what they became. I don't understand that part. None of it was good to me. And I will admit, I am a lover of the book. I have read that book twice and heard it on audiobook once. I love it. Do I expect that they can adapt that book to a really good movie? Probably not. Probably not. This is a big-ass book. Don't get me wrong. But when you start doing dumb shit that doesn't make sense... So, as an example, with Mike, with him, they actually combined two aspects of the story that don't really belong together to make Mike's backstory. And if you know the book, you understand. So, The whole thing is he lives with his grandfather, I believe. I'm not gonna remember details. He lives with another family member. I think it's a grandfather. And it's like, yeah, his parents died. And they're like, well, how do they die? And then you get the whole thing where you see smoke coming out of a door and then hands trying to escape the closed door where the smoke is coming out of. That wasn't just something they came up with, y'all. Okay? That is very much pulled out of a chapter of It that, very interestingly, was a thread. So if you don't know Stephen King, he usually has a thread that runs through a lot of his stuff that makes them all interconnected, right? And Pennywise is a really big part of that. Pennywise, I believe, I haven't read them, but the Dark Tower series, I'm pretty sure Pennywise shows up there. So there's a thread to be had. And that's kind of the reason I'm mad they took the story and just turned it into like, oh, this is how Mike's parents passed away. So there's a chapter that takes place kind of in the past of Derry that had a, I gotta be real careful because it's gonna be a touchy conversation, but basically it's where Army or Navy African Americans could meet away from the town, because obviously it's back in the time where you had racial segregation. So they made that. I think they called it I want to say Black Spot, but I can't remember if that's actually what it's called or if I'm thinking about something else. But it was something along those lines as like a pointing finger towards, you know, the rest of the town, right? So that happens, and in the book, one of the people who were there is Dick Hallorann, which is the man with The Shining from The Shining that is the caretaker. In the movie, he's played by Scatman Crothers. He's a tie-in. So that part of the book is actually pretty cool. And is its own thing that's like, it's Pennywise's influence on the town. Because the violence is upscaled versus what it would be, because that's just what Pennywise does. Like, that's the whole point of the chapter. Is to establish that history of Pennywise and how it affects the townspeople, which you see that later too with the parents against the kids, where the like abuse ramps up, things like that. So this is just another earlier instance of it happening. But you get that tie-in with Dick Hallorann, and him and another person escape because The Shining kicks off and he realizes something's about to happen, and he is a cook. And he manages to get out. And then they see Pennywise like across the field, like dancing as the place burns. Because that's what happens. All the white folk come over and burn the place down. That's what they took. They took that whole idea of this place burning and did all that. I hate it. There's so much stuff that they twisted and turned and changed. And then, I don't know, it's like you don't really feel like the kids do get along that well. They had that one fight for no fucking reason. Just, I guess their tension would happen. And you don't really get all of the kids' fears like you do in the book. So it doesn't make sense for all of it. I don't know, it's just not a good movie. I've seen it once. I saw it once on my own, and then I saw it with Nub because he hadn't seen it and he fucking hated it. And I'm sure we'll get to part 2 at some point. He threw a pillow at the TV. It pissed him off so bad. No joke. It's just... They do some practical effects. Skarsgård does his whole eyeball thing again. Pennywise shouldn't be scary to start. They missed the mark on that. The house on Neibolt Street, it never was supposed to look like a stereotypical creepy house. It looked like a normal house. That's what made it so fucking creepy in the book. It was just a house, but it was decrepit because nobody lived there for a while. It didn't like a fucking Addams Family knockoff. Anywho. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff and little Easter eggs they put in for book readers that I'm like, what's the point of this? Fuck you. I don't like it. If I keep going, I could. We're not gonna get any more done. Let's see. That's it. It comes at. I can't remember. It comes at night. Whatever, wherever it is. I actually haven't seen this one. I own it. I actually do own this one. I haven't watched it yet. I probably should. It Follows. I haven't watched it. I know what it's about. I haven't watched it. I know they're making another one. I'm not sure how, because I know what the premise is and what happens in It Follows, so I'm just kind of like, I don't get it. I don't know. It's a weird STD, man. It's your modern age, no premarital sex film. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's one of those, I know it's been on the TV when I've been around. I don't really give a shit about it. I know it's got a following. It just had a game. No, it's just called It Follows 2, I believe. I know a lot of people love this movie. It's just not for me. It's gonna be a high C. It's just not my type. Now, this may be a thing against me. I'm just not into it. It's not my thing. Oh. Oh. Oh boy. Some people about to question me. So this is a Shyamalan film. I'm a Shyamalan fan. But let me make my little correction here. I'm a Shyamalan fan as long as it's movies that he wrote. If it's based on pre-existing material that is not his, they are never good movies. It is technically considered horror. The last third of the movie, 100% is horror. I would say it's an A. It's an A. Kind of a mid-A, but it's an A. I love it. I watched it a lot. Again, I am a Shyamalan fan. I can't help myself. Like I said, as long as it's not pre-existing material that he's just been hired on to do better for, I'm just like, eh. I'm not. But if it's his work, I'm generally gonna like it, even if nobody else does. That's just how I am. That's me. But I would say it's definitely an A movie for me. The story's interesting. It's a story he wrote for his girls as a bedtime story. I think Paul Giamatti does a really good job. Bryce Dallas Howard, he always does a good job. And just the quirkiness of it. I know a lot of people hate him and really hated him around this period, but that's okay. I just like this movie. Lake Mungo. I'm gonna say probably a high A. It's a found footage. It's a very slow burn found footage. Because it's just one of those things where you feel uncomfortable through a lot of it. And it's not one of those horrors that's in your face or anything like that. And you really don't get the true horrorness of it until towards the end. But again, with a slow burn, that's to be expected. The way all the story unravels about the girl it centers around, and like I said, the very tail end of it, it's got to be an A. I had heard a lot about this. I actually didn't watch it until several years back. But I had heard good things. I was like, I was really deep in my found footage phase. I think this was during lockdown. And I was just like, you know what? Fine. I gotta put it on my list. And I've watched it a few times, actually. So it's not bad. I recommend, for sure, if you haven't seen it as a found footage film. This is one of those I kind of don't want to spoil it because of of how the story is done and the way it builds the tension. Talking too much about it would probably not work if you've never seen it before. So I would recommend, definitely check that out. I'm not gonna say it's gonna like give you the chills. It's just one of those where you're gonna be like, the fuck? In like the best way possible. Lake Placid. Okay. See, this is one of those, so I'm like, that's horror? I know. I think he had something to say about that. So, I get it, it's a creature film, and most creature films in some way are going to be considered horror. That's just kind of their reputation, but I wouldn't exactly say Lake Placid is horror to me. But, you know what? It is a giant gator that gets to be eating people, and that's always fun. And it's got Betty White in it. It's got Betty White doing Betty White things. What you doing, Bubba? I have a kitty on my desk right now. Hold on. What's she doing, baby? Hmm? Oh, oops. Oh, don't block the mic. Who's that pretty boy? Who's that pretty boy? I have to indulge him. Yes, I do. I has to indulge the baby boy. Don't put your butthole on my drink, please. Good job. Okay. So it's a creature feature for sure. It's a real world creature feature, which, for better or worse, I know some people actually are like deathly afraid of things like gators and crocodiles, and I mean, I understand. I'm in Georgia. I've been on rivers and ponds and lakes that got gators on them. I understand that fear. Again, you do have Betty White. You do have Bill Pullman. But again, I just don't see it as being like horror per se. I do feel like if you're with the right person or people, this might be a better watch as well. It's one of those. I'll say, get out of the Doritos. I'd say it's probably a low A. Or low B, excuse me. Yes, don't you stare at me. You've never even seen that movie. Last House on the Left. This is the remake. I don't know if like the OG will show up somewhere. So I'm not sure if we want to combine both of these together, the OG and the remake. Again, not seen the remake. I choose usually not to see the remakes. I got no respect for most of these remakes, to be perfectly frank. Yeah, see, he's now on my desk, laying down. So I don't know. And I know it's the original's Wes Craven, which isn't. Have you noticed a lot of the ones I refuse to watch are Wes Craven films when they remake those? There's just something wrong about that. Although I can't say that. I did watch the new Hellraiser. That one was actually pretty good, but oh, that's not Wes Craven. Sorry, wrong person. No, all the Wes Craven ones. I haven't watched any of the new Screams either. My brain went to a whole nother place. No, I haven't watched any of the new Screams either. I don't know. Just something about Wes no longer being involved makes me not want to see things happen. I don't know. I'm messed up. I don't know why I'm like that. I mean, we know what kind of movie it is. It's one of those movies, like, was it really a necessary movie in life? Probably not. A lot of people know what it is. A lot of people know what it is because of the brutality of it. It's gonna be a high C, I think. I get it. And if I ever watch the remake and it's bad, it'll probably drop. But for now, we're gonna leave that there. Have not watched Maniac Cop. I know about it. Don't know much about it. Maximum Overdrive. Oi. What do we do with Maximum Overdrive? It is a terrible movie. It is one of those that's almost so terrible in a way that you can't make it better. Like, trying to make fun of it or whatever, it just doesn't work as well as it does with some others. It's Stephen King again. Oh. It's like, how do I judge this one? That's the thing, like, it's bad, but again, I'm one of those people, I do like a good bad movie too. But it's pretty bad. I think what Save It is being bad, but I do think it's still gonna be like it's gonna be a C. It's gonna be somewhere up here. It can't escape what it is. Yeah, it can't escape what it is, but we're gonna have to go with that. Because you definitely can derive some enjoyment from it. So I haven't watched Mercy. I haven't had Netflix in forever. So especially if that's something newer. I have no idea about it. So leave that alone. Midsummer. This is another S tier. And I actually think I like it, but so I've seen it less than Hereditary, but I think I like it more than Hereditary. There was some shit in that movie that hit me, like, in my soul. For a lot of reasons. But it made some things in my brain click at one point. And it was one of the moments, you know. It's a fucked up movie. And I will tell people, I will recommend this movie all day long, but you have to be in a mindset that you can handle it. And it's not easy. It's heavy. It's got a lot of crazy shit in it. The whole, like, everybody spends their time pretty much, you know, stoned off of, like, mushroom tea. Ari Aster made sure, like, a lot of your backgrounds and things do weird shit and have hidden images and stuff to kind of emulate how that could be while you're watching it. And if you watched it while fucked up on something, let me tell you, it's crazy. Been there, done that. I watched a, like, 5.5 hour teardown of this movie. I forgot the channel name, I'll have to find it at some point. He does, like, long ass breakdowns of movies and stuff, and he's done Hereditary and Midsummer. And I've watched them both. And the teardown that he does breaking into Midsummer and its background and the origins of, like, certain aspects of it and this, that, and the other, holy shit. Like, I already loved it. That made it so much more better. But yeah, there's a lot to this movie that I can't really talk about, but it hit. It hit hard. So it's up there. And again, I highly, highly recommend it, but much like Hereditary, you really do need to be in a particular mindset. For sure. In Midsummer, so much more. So that it doesn't fuck you up. Because I have a feeling it could fuck you up. But very much recommend watching that one. It's just got a lot of heavy sadness. And a lot of fucked up shit. Let's see. Mirrors. No, I haven't watched that one yet. I have it on my list, but I never got to it. I haven't watched Soul to Take. Have I watched Near Dark? I think it may have been on, but I know I did not actively watch it. Night of the Lepus. It's a killer. It's a big bunny movie. It's just a movie about giant bunnies. It's not great. Not by a long shot. I feel like it's gonna have to be pretty low. Is it adorable? It's got adorable bunnies on miniature sets. And that's adorable. And you'll get some entertainment from it for that, but otherwise, it's not a great movie. And I like how they're trying to hide, like, what it is with the eyes in the background. But if you know what Latin is for bunny, or for rabbit, rather, not bunny, it's lepus. So if you know that, it's kind of like if you watch Star Wars and speak, what is it? Is it Swedish? Or Danish? Where Vader is, or Vader is father and Darth is dark, so his name is Dark Father. Yeah. Whole thing. But it's just not good. But the bunnies are adorable. This is Night of the Scarecrow. Haven't watched this one. I do know of a Dark Night of the Scarecrow, which I have a feeling is probably better than this. Full confession, I have not watched Nightbreed. That's probably really wrong of me. I have watched The People Under the Stairs. This is another Craven movie. I watched this when I was really, really young. I remember we would rent it from the video store. I'd watch it a lot while we had it. It's not, in hindsight, it's not a particularly good movie. I remember it as a kid. And I remember, like, just a couple key scenes of it from when I was a kid. But just from what I can recall, like, thinking about it, it wasn't great. Wasn't bad. Wasn't spectacular. I want to say it's probably a low B. For sure. Like, I don't think it's quite here, because it has some moments. Like I said, a few things I can still kind of remember, which means stuff stood out, even as a kid. So I'll probably put it here. Eh. Stephen King's original Pet Sematary. Ooh. And the follow-up as well. Okay. They gonna get me on this. So... there's a lot of things going for Pet Sematary, the original. Not the remake, but the original. You had really good practical effects. The most iconic lines did not come from the remake. They came from this one. Sometimes, you know, the better off did. Just having oh god. Brain? Brain. Why can I not why can't I think of this man's name? Any other day of the week I could do this. And I had it and it was gone. Fred Gwynn. Jesus Christ. Fred Gwynn. You have Fred Gwynn doing a hell of a Maine accent. He gives you a lot of lines that we remember. Freaking, now I forgot the kid's name. And normally I could tell you that. Because we talk about him all the time, actually. Where are we? Miko. There it is. Miko Hughes. Because that was a hell of a child actor. And yes, they did use a puppet for some of his stuff in this movie because there was no way they could get a child to do it. But for being such a young child, he did a really, really good job of it. And, like, Nob and I will do this sometimes, like, when something happens and it doesn't seem right, we'll go, no fair. That's what he does. So we have our thing. Again, you've got really good practical effects. You've got, once again, you've got a Stephen King adaptation. It's a good Stephen King adaptation, though. This is one of those that you really, want to see. Even if you've read the book, yeah, there are definitely some differences, but this is one of those that most people can separate them and appreciate each for what it is. So, this is gonna have to be a really high A. I don't think it's quite too S tier for me. Although, God, I'm questioning, is it like a low S? Oh, but it's got so many, it's a low S. There's just too many things that we quote and do that definitely come from it. I've just discovered that too. A lot of the stuff that I'm putting on S tier is things that routinely enter into my quirks and shit. Same with Nub. So yeah, I think we're gonna go with S tier on that, because we do. It's a good movie. We quote it a lot. It did some really good groundwork, especially with the limited budget. So it's up there. Phantasm. Oh boy. Okay. This is gonna be a tough one for me. Is it particularly a great movie? No. No, it is not. It's trippy as fuck. It is real trippy. If you're not paying attention, you're gonna be lost as shit. I was introduced to it very young. This is a very early horror movie for me, so that's why I'm gonna have a problem probably being nice in my or being a good non-biased person. Ew. That's gross. That's terrible. I like the Scary Stories movie, honestly. It's a good little entry into horror for kids, I think. Little me would have loved it, to be honest. But Phantasm, again, it's one of those, it's fucking weird. If you're not paying attention, you may not know what the hell's happening. And that's okay. It happens. It does give us Angus Scrimm with his boy, which somehow became a God of War thing. I remember hearing that the first time. I'm like, why the fuck is the tall man, and what the fuck is happening? The tall man is kind of iconic in his own little way. Again, that's more kind of your cult following. The biggest thing that the series brought to the front for horror was the silver ball drill thing. But it has little Jawas running. Okay, so this, first, me as a kid, it was kind of weird because I watched Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I knew what Jawas were, and then somehow they wound up in this fucking horror movie. But they bled yellow. They did come from a weird sand planet, though. I don't know, man. But lots of strangeness about it. But you get the ball that flies around and will drill into your head. Aqua Teen has referenced it a lot. I'm a big Aqua Teen fan, so I love the fact that they acknowledge that movie. But it's still not, like, a great movie. But I do watch it routinely because I find it amusing. I think it's gonna go right here for now. Just because to me, it's a routine watch, but I will wholeheartedly go, it don't make no sense sometimes. And I remember when I finally got old enough to really understand what I was watching, it did take a few tries to absorb all of it. But I think it's pretty high up because it is at least entertaining at the end of the day. And Angus Scrimm is amazing. So we're going there. I have not watched Piranha. Mainly because it's a falsity. Piranhas don't do this shit. And I don't know. I never really cared about Piranha movies. I know there's a few of them. I just don't give a fuck. Poltergeist. This is the original. Is it S tier? Yeah, Piranha 3D does have some titties in it. Is Poltergeist S tier or is it just really high A tier? Ooh, this is one of those that whenever it came on TBS, whenever they would do their movie special weekends or whatever, like 4th of July and such, this movie always came on. I was always allowed to watch it, and I did every single time. I loved this movie. And I mean, it's John Williams music. It's not a Steven Spielberg movie. He just was behind it. He put his name on it with Tobe Hooper, which I should tell you what you need to know. Oh my gosh. I'm torn on where to put it. Because to be honest, or Jerry Goldsmith, you're right, I'm sorry. This is one of the few that Williams was involved with. It's so cool because it's got so much of the Star Wars crossover, obviously. There's so much fucked up shit attached to it, too. With this one of the the teenage daughter or sister, she was murdered by her boyfriend. Carol Ann's actress came down with the, was it cancer? I can't remember off the top of my head. Like a bunch of strange shit happened. They wound up using, real bodies in the pool and didn't tell the actors it was real bodies because that's a little fucked up. And I get it. Real bodies are cheaper than plastic, but at least tell you people they're gonna be swimming with fucking bodies. Like, Jesus. And I mean, as a kid, I quoted this movie a lot. Like, a lot. And I'm sure it is part of the catalyst into my whole into the ghosty shit. Because I'm pretty sure this got my interest going, and then life happened and it just convinced me that yes, I should be more into it. And I mean, they're here. Like, who doesn't know what that is? Honestly. Okay, no. It's an S tier. It's gotta be an S tier. There's just too much to it. Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna put it above anything, but right now I'm comfortable with it. It's fine. Reanimator. It's a solid B movie. It's got really good practical effects again. It's got one scene. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I think it's fine. It's definitely one that I don't mind having on. It's just kind of background noise for me. It's pretty good. Oh, very nice. Still hadn't seen the movie. That's fair. Like I said, it's fine for what it is. I think, it's not particularly my cup of tea for what it is. But again, I appreciate really good practical effects. That's always going to be a big up for me. And I think this one did a hell of a job with it. In addition to just kind of being what the story is. Now, again, not one I particularly want to just spoil on. Some of these I don't mind spoiling. Because I feel like more people might have seen them. Reanimator's one of those that I'm not sure everybody would have. Because of the timeline of it. So some of these I'll be careful on. Especially if I do want you to see them. If some I don't think I'll care y'all see, then I'll probably talk about it. Into Star Trek work. That's fair. The Ring, and I'm assuming we're talking about the American remake. It was a phenomenon. I remember when it came out. And oh my god, people would not shut the fuck up about 7 days. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, Yeah, I've seen, and the thing is, we've watched pretty much all the Ringu movies. Zero was fucking strange, but we watched it. So we wound up watching The Ring, and then we watched Ringu, then we watched Grudge, and then we watched oh my god. My language just broke. But you know, the Grudge, the original. Fuck me. And I mean, for people who weren't aware of the Japanese version, The Ring was okay, I guess. I don't know. The most creepy part about it that I ever dealt with was I was watching it at some point. I was home alone. It was dark. I was sitting on my floor. And nobody knew like what was happening, but I was just sitting there watching it. And it got to the point where the phone was supposed to ring because she was calling, and my fucking cell phone went off. And I jumped like, what the fuck is happening? Hell of a time. But that's neither here nor there. That has nothing to do with the movie. Since it's the remake, I honestly, it's gonna be a low B. Again, it did introduce the world to Sadako. What was her name in the American version? Amara? Was that her name? Samara. That was it. Samara. Yes, that's how much I haven't watched the American version in forever. I don't even remember her name. She's Sadako. So, yeah, I mean, it gave us that, and then that kind of opened up the door a bit for Asian horror to start picking up here. And then people became aware of, you know, the originals, and quite frankly, they're fucking frightening. Like, the Japanese versions, they know how to do their creepy shit. 100%. This one was, it was okay. It at least opened the door and made a way for the originals to be known and seen, and people to get that additional exposure once that happened. But honestly, it's really nothing that special. If you think about it, they should have just imported the originals. Next up is Rosemary's Baby. I know this is based on a book. I haven't read it. We're dealing with demon-y, culty things. It's really good, though, with the mindfuckery. And I'm all about some weird demon-y baby things. It's one of those that it probably will take a lot. I don't seek it out. Again, it's not one I routinely seek out, but I'm not going to turn it down when it comes on or if it's on. But it's definitely one of those that I would rather watch The Omen. Does that make sense? If I'm gonna have demon child culty baby things happening, I think I'd rather watch The Omen. So it's gonna be a pretty big B movie, but not my favorite demon child baby cult thing. But it is a good mindfuck. So I would recommend, if you've never seen it, do see it, even though I kind of spoilered it a little bit. I've only seen half of Rubber. I had to check out at one point after he feeds them the rotten turkey, because ain't no way I was sticking around for the rest of that. I don't handle puke, real or otherwise. I don't like the sounds of it happening. I don't deal with it. And we were coming up on some nastiness that I was probably going to throw up my own lunch if I stuck around. So I've only watched half of Rubber, but the premise is deadly tire bouncing along the roads of the United States, being observed by people and a scientist. Literally. Got up there with the idea of deathbed, the dead that eats, or the bed that eats. So, you know, weird premise, kind of goofy in its own way, and there's just all the strange shit going on. We'll put it at low C. I can appreciate what they were going for. I personally couldn't finish it because of what they were going to be doing, and we wasn't handling that day or any other day. But up until that point, I do remember kind of enjoying it for what it was. Salem's Lot, we got another King adaptation. I mean, it's a solid B for sure. I think I'm gonna put it ahead of Cujo. But it's again, it's okay. I'm not gonna run to it if I'm gonna watch a King movie. I've got a bunch of others in front of it. I'll choose first. But it's good for what it is. Sharknado. Does this really belong? What do I do with this one? It It's one of those that's made to be bad. Like, they're intentionally making it bad. I don't know what to classify this shit as. I mean, you know what's happening. You see the jokes coming from a mile away. It can be a good time if you're with the right people. If you appreciate just kind of the nuttiness of it. We'll put a kind of, not full bottom, but kind of middle-ish bottom of B. I get it. I did have fun with it. Well, I mean, obviously, but for me, Lady in the Water is the better thing. It's just, my taste in stupid funny is very weird. Like, I'll watch Reno 911, I'll watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force, I'll watch some of that kind of stuff and I find it hilarious, but then things that are also stupid funny on a different area don't do the same thing, and that's kind of where Sharknado is. I appreciate it. I know it became one of those fucking sensations and they made so many of them and they just got stupider as we went along. I get its influence, but it's not really for me. You know? And that's where we're gonna leave that. Now, on the flip side, Shaun of the Dead. Is it... Oh, God. This is another one. Do I put it S tier? I think we put it S tier. Anything that's Nick Frost, Simon Pegg, and Edgar Wright is going to be S tier. It doesn't matter what we're looking at. And it's going to be pretty high, honestly. I love that duo. I love how they work together. I will tell you, if you love Shaun of the Dead, you do need to watch Hot Fuzz. If you like those, I'm not going to tell you to watch At World's End. I'm not. That one is a little bit different. What I am going to tell you is go find a TV series from Britain called Spaced, and you'll understand why. Spaced came first, but it's hilarious. It's British comedy, so obviously you gotta have a taste for that. And of course, you'll see a lot of people from Spaced in Shaun of the Dead and some of the other movies as well. My favorite being is if you watch Spaced, there's a particular character named Tyres. He dresses a very specific way, and you can recognize him pretty easily. He's in Shaun of the Dead as a zombie. It's great. But it's kind of got a little bit of romance. It's got, obviously, your horror. It's also got your comedy. Very much based on Romero's zombies, for sure. And it's just hilarious. Peter, I can never say that man's last name, is the voice of Darth Maul, which is always funny. He's also in Spaced. They work with him a lot. He's just, I love it. All around solid zombie movies, but we don't say the Z word. It has got some little moments for sure. So 100% recommend if you like zombies or if you like British comedy, British humor, it's well worth it. Like I said, I'll recommend this. I'll recommend Hot Fuzz. The trilogy ends at World's End, but that one, that's their Alien movie, but it's not as easy of a watch, especially if you know about Simon Pegg at that point. Uh, yeah, but it's still good. Don't get me wrong, it's still good, but to me, it doesn't compare to Shaun and Hot Fuzz. So Shaun's up there. I'm happy with it. Oh, also, funny, another side thing, especially if you're like a House of the Dragon fan from, the Game of Thrones shit. If you want to see a really, really young Patty, what's his name, who plays the father, uh, early on, he's the one who dies of rot. You can see a very, very young version of him in Shaun of the Dead, and then you'll see him again older later in Hot Fuzz. You can actually kind of track his age through those movies. He's the one that tells Shaun for the first time, "You've got red on you." He's that teenager. It's fucking bizarre when you see all of that. Because I remember, I don't watch Game of Thrones or any of that, but I remember seeing that guy, the character, and I'm like, why does he look familiar? So I looked it up and it was him, and I'm like, holy shitballs. Okay. The Shining. The movie The Shining. That, we're going S tier. We're going to put it ahead of Pet Sematary. So this is one of those that 100% you're going to want to separate your book and your movie. Kubrick was smart enough to know that you could not put everything from that book into a movie and have it work and look good. King didn't really like that, so King doesn't really like this version. That's fine. I question King's taste in movies sometimes. But yes, I do highly recommend this movie, and I also do recommend, if you've read the book or if you want to read the book, do keep it separate because they're completely different monsters in a lot of different ways. We get a stellar performance, of course, out of Jack Nicholson, kind of solidifying him as kind of an icon in horror. His eyebrows helped a lot. Let's be real. He already worked with Roger Corman on some stuff, so it's not like it was unfamiliar to horror, but this was just amazing. Shelley Duvall was great in it. Danny, of course, good kid actor. A lot of iconic stuff in this one as well. The "Here's Johnny" improv line. It seems to be improv lines a lot of times that people lock onto. It's interesting. It does have some weird stuff that unless you read the book, you're not gonna understand what the fuck is happening. I.e. the man in the dog costume towards the end. If you read the book, you know all about that. That's some fucked up shit. But I remember watching this as a kid. I had it on VHS. I fell asleep to this movie when I was younger. I still will. It does not bother me one iota. But yeah, we see the carpet, that iconic carpet. You see that everywhere. It's even in like my very favorite game series, Rusty Lake. It is what it is. You just accept that fact and move on. It's been spoofed a lot. It clearly made its mark. So it's S tier. And when I say I can fall asleep to this, it's because not because I'm bored. It's a comfort movie. This is a comfort movie for me. See, some movies I fall asleep because I'm bored. This one I'm not bored. I'm like, this is my happy place, and I just curl up and go to sleep. I Was an Odd Child, Leave Me Alone. Signs. Another Shyamalan film. Unfortunately headed by Mel Gibson. Which is a shame because his performance in this movie is so good, but he's such an... it's disheartening. Joaquin Phoenix, we got a Culkin child, which take your pick because they all look alike. It's Kieran, but Odd Coke Kids look alike. It's good. It's an alien movie. I know a lot of people kind of laugh at it for obvious reasons, but personally, it's well paced. I really enjoy it. It's a solid alien movie, overlooking kind of the actor fiasco. I'm gonna say probably a high B. I don't think it's quite A level, but it's definitely high B for me. It's good. I'm not as big into aliens. I love space. I just don't love aliens, whatever. But I feel like it's just well done. So, yes, we're going with that for science. It's got some drawbacks. It's gonna be right there. Silence of the Lambs. Good adaptation of a book. This is one of the movies that I will hold up to being, this one was adapted as well as it could have been. There's definitely some stuff in the book that you would not put in a movie, or at least if you wanted it to stay rated R. They left in a good chunk of it or twisted enough of it that you got the point across. Amazing acting all around. Creepy, for sure, in its own way. Really good kind of thriller as well, with the whole serial killer thing going on. The tuck scene, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Everybody knows the iconic line, it puts the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again. Spoofed all over the place. South Park is a really good spoof of it. But people just say that. It's one of those things that just entered into the vocabulary of phrases that people just will say when they want you to get something and you're not doing it. You know, it puts the lotion on its skin. You know, or like it's just a thing that happens. So I feel like we're looking at a high A. This is definitely a high A. I don't think it's quite to S. It's got some moments, for sure. The dead... one of my favorite things about it is the dead girl that they do the investigation on is actually a live person. It's someone that she's actually real, and they had that thing in her throat. I'm like, ugh. So, to her, but it's still high A. Mainly because I did read the book. And like I said, it can't quite live up to the book, but it's pretty darn close, I would say. I've read all three of them. Red Dragon is, of course, the first book, then it's Silence of the Lambs, and then it's Hannibal. We're not going to talk about that movie unless it pops up, because like that movie, and I don't like what they did with it because I read the book. And I read these books when I was an early teenager, so stuck with me. Sleepy Hollow. Got some Burton shit going on. So we got, of course, Johnny Depp. We've got Christina Ricci. I don't like her in Blonde. It just don't suit her. We do have a really good, yet very short-lived Christopher Walken role. He does a really good job looking like the crazy-ass Hessian. Got some questionable actors. It does have, Ian McDiarmid. They've got Emperor Palpatine. That's a plus. It does have a cameo from Christopher Lee. Sir Christopher Lee has an opening cameo. So that's automatically going to give it bonus points. That's just how it works. He's a judge. So, okay. It is a movie I watch a lot. Or I like to put on in the background anyway. I very much will do that. It's just one of those, it's an easy to have on type of situation. And I really like the story of Sleepy Hollow. Oh, really? What's it gonna be? Yeah, Casper Van Dien is in it. But yes, what's your tattoo gonna be? And I fell in love with The Legend of Sleepy Hollow from the Disney cartoon when I was really young. I don't know, the idea of a headless horseman was just cool as shit. The tree, oh, okay. Very nice. There's a very similar looking tree in Beetlejuice 2, actually. I liked Beetlejuice. I'm just gonna call it Beetlejuice 2, but I know what it is. Sleepy Hollow's up there. Is it great? No. It's not a great movie. It's an easy watch. We'll put it that way. It is an easy watch. You'll probably sit down and enjoy it regardless. And again, you get some really good performances out of people. You've got the one questionable actor who's in there. He's also in Beetlejuice. They did a very artful, tasteful way of getting him off the second movie. But Miranda Richardson's in it. She does a good job. Everybody's boobs look amazing. So, it'll be up there. We're gonna put it up there, I think. And it's got witchery. I like some good witchcraft. So, it stays. I've not watched Slither. I actually don't have any desire to watch Slither. There's something about that that just sets me the fuck off. Is it? Yeah, I guess that's fair. I guess that's fair. Let's see. We're gonna skip ahead a few because we're on a binge here where I haven't really watched any of the S's yet. Tales from we'll skip all the way to Tales from the Hood. I mean, it's iconic. That again, this is one of those where a lot of people are gonna know about it even if they haven't necessarily watched it. It's for an anthology, it's fine. Anthology movies are very strange. Some of them are really good, like Creepshow's really good. It's got really good actors in it. For the time, obviously. And I think it is a little, I would say, maybe groundbreaking just based on what everything was. I think we're going to put that pretty solidly high-ish B. Probably right about here. It does a lot. Terrifier, the first one, I've had it on. I didn't really pay attention to it, to be honest. I remember watching it, though. I didn't realize it was going to become the thing that it became. I don't know what the fuck happened here, y'all. Is it because he's just kind of a creepy mascot-looking thing? I don't know, but it's gore for the sake of gore, is what it is. Which is probably why I half tuned out of it, because, again, I generally am not going to watch a movie for gore. It's not my thing. A lot of people love it. For some people, this is probably like an AS tier. It is not for me. He's cool looking, sure. And the actor does a good job with what he does. Yeah, his little weird head twist, the smile. But, it's just, I don't remember really enjoying it. You know what I mean? Is it better than Giant Bunnies? Yeah, probably. What? You don't agree? You like the Giant Bunnies better? I got fussied at. But yeah, I have to agree. For me, it's not a high-ranking movie. It's there to shock you. It's a shocker film. And some people get off on that, and that's perfectly fine. I got no issue with it. It's just not my type of deal. Tremors! Classic. Kevin Bacon. Again, a lot of spin-offs of this, parodies of this. You know, people still make jokes about about if you step too hard or whatever, you're gonna get eat up, whatever, Again, is it necessarily a good movie? No, you haven't watched it. No, you haven't. What you doing? Ziggy's being very talkative. And I don't know, for a lot of people, Kevin Bacon will be like the big, oh, but it's got Kevin Bacon. I don't care. As a matter of fact, didn't he really dislike this film up until recently? Or was that one of the other actors? I can't remember. I know. What is it? Where are you? There you are. I don't know why he's being so whiny. No, I don't. Don't know why you're being so whiny. I would say this is one of those, it's a solid B movie. It spawned a lot of stuff. You know, people, again, it's one of those, you could talk about it or mention it. Even if they haven't seen it, they're probably going to know enough about it just because of what it is. I'll put it up here, kind of around where Sharknado is, because it's got that same type of phenomenon about it. You know, you be careful where you walk, that kind of thing. Trick or Treat's another one of our anthologies. This one is a little bit better than Terrifier, because it's not solely a gore fest. It does have the cute little mascot child. I believe there's a second one and possibly a third one. I remember this was okay. I do remember having it on, and I remember watching it. It was a little cliche. Ow, Jesus Christ, cat. He headbutted my hand, and it felt like he tried to break my finger. It's gonna be a high C. Like, I haven't rewatched it yet, so that tells me it wasn't the best in the world, but it's certainly, for what it is, not the worst. There's a lot worse horror anthology movies out there. A lot of people, I think, do like this one. Might put it into B class, but again, they were cliche. I don't remember a lot about them, but I remember basically sitting there going, oh, this is gonna happen. It would happen. Oh, this is gonna happen. It would happen. That type of shit. And if I can do that, I'm probably not gonna put it very high. I shouldn't just sit there and call it. I haven't seen Troll Hunter. I need to. I know that's supposed to be like one of those top of the list found footage films. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But I am willing to bet it'd be pretty high on my list if I did, because it's supposed to be pretty good. Troll. Ugh, God, what do we do here? It's Troll. It's fucking Troll. Because we're stuck in that, is it going to be low because it's a bad movie, or is it going to be higher because it's a bad movie, but you can enjoy it because it's a bad movie? Now, I will say its enjoyment is not on the same level as Troll 2. Nah, it's gonna be in the C's. I'm gonna put it pretty much around here. Because it's got its moments, but it's no Troll 2. Yeah. So it'll be there. It'll just have to sit comfortably there. Have not seen this yet. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Haven't watched it. I haven't watched The Void. It's on my list. It hasn't been watched yet. Don't think I've seen The Watchers. If I have, I don't remember. That's probably one that has been on in the background at some point. I just didn't pay attention. OG Wicker Man. OG Wicker Man's gonna be a good solid B for sure. Folk horror is always pretty good. That's part of the reason Midsommar is so good. It's folk horror. I've watched the original, but I don't remember as much about the original as I do the Nick Cage remake. You know what I mean? Like, it's really good. I appreciate everything about it with the folk horror, the cult, and all of that. And of course, the Wicker Man thing. But at the end of the day, I just don't think about this version as often as I do the Nick Cage version. But this is definitely more that horror. The original is more horror-ish than the Nick Cage version, for sure. But I'd probably say if the Nick Cage version was on here, it'd be higher because I have genuine enjoyment watching pretty much anything like that with Nick Cage, to be honest. But him punching out a woman, then running around in a bear suit, you can't beat it, man. Wishmaster. I remember watching it as a kid. I remember nothing about it. But it's basically evil Jenny. What the fuck is wrong with me? Evil Genie. Doing shit. Doing Wishmastery shit. And I'm not sitting it here, it did weird shit, so I'm not putting it here. I just had to let go, and that's where it wound up. I don't know if I would put it S tier for me. Hey, Derparn. Thank you so much for the 20 months. I appreciate that. I don't know if I can put it S. I can put it A. Because it's not bad, and for the time, it's decent. But I'm not S tier, and I can't S tier it in good faith. Yeah, I think I put it... I don't know if do I put it ahead of Blair? Not for me, not for me. Blair Witch should go ahead. No, it's above these two. I don't know. Just how I feel. And then Wolf Creek. I actually haven't watched Wolf Creek. I know what it's based on, like, real life events. I haven't watched it yet. So honestly, I know what some of these are. I just haven't watched them. Some of them I have no idea. I actually knew a lot more than I thought I would, at least on this list. So taking a look here, and this is just the first one. There's a couple more from the same maker. I feel like my S tier, pretty solid. These are the ones I quote a lot or tend to have a lot of quirks about them that I have used in real life. I watch them a lot voluntarily. And I just feel like they're solid movies. Like, you can't go wrong with them. My A tier, pretty much. These are also usually regular go-tos. I like watching them. They just don't have the it factor that would put them into S tier for me. But they're very, very good movies. Highly recommend watching if you've never seen them. Some of them spawn more stuff, which I think is also a big point in their favor for being an A tier. So, yeah. B, this is going to be a lot of our found footage. A lot of movies that have some relevance even to this day. People can quote something from it, or if you show them an image, they do know what it's from, but maybe never actually watched it, just because it's that saturated into other factions of what we see and what we do. Your cartoons and different series that parody it, but you know where it's from. A lot of your horror icons fall in here because a lot of them were spawned in the 80s, maybe some in the 70s, and not that their movies were spectacular, but something about the icon definitely caught on with people, and they were able to go from there. Like Chucky, again, Brad Dourif, bringing that doll to life has a lot to do with him being here. The tall man, Angus Scrimm, having that look about him, that voice. Like, if it weren't for little things like that, these probably wouldn't have done as well as they did. C tier, a lot of these are just not my cup of tea, or just the premise around it's like, okay, moving on. And then D are just like, nope. Or it's one of those where it's like, I just, like with Lepus, is it necessarily the worst movie? No, but it's boring. So, this is, like I said, this one will probably make some people angry. I don't care. Fuck that movie. So this is the first set. And I feel like for me, that's pretty solid. Let's see. We can start the second set. I got a little bit of time. Let's see what the second set has.